Okay, so for those of you joining us, and some of you might also be following on His Worship the Mayor's Live, we're here, U.S. Ambassador, and we also have the U.S. Defense Civil Defense Team, and we just received some stuff for the safe home here in Linden. Um, so we just thought to bring you this update on what is happening here. We're at the Watuka Guest House, Watuka Club. Could you tell me what you would prefer for lunch? Hi. Here it is. Here is the ambassador want to do. Now, would you be able to make anything quickly? Like, yeah, rice and what you got? Yeah, but rice and what are your options? Yeah, that's right. Just, okay, everyone. So thank you for joining us. And we'll bring you some more updates. We have some other engagements um, throughout the day. So we will bringing you some other updates. Of course, we're seeing where our regional chairman, vice chairman, his worship the mayor, and team councillors and so on are here. Okay. All right, guys. So that was just a short update on what's happening in Linden, in and around Linden. So listen out, look out as we bring you other updates on all that is happening in and around our Linden town.
All right, that's just a quick update on what's happening in Linden. The U.S. ambassador and her team, they're out there in Linden, reaching out to the needs of folks out there in Linden, and we say kudos to the U.S. Embassy. We say kudos to the U.S. ambassador and her team, and we say kudos to those leaders on the ground in Linden. Hopefully, all is well with you at your end. So I just was just brought to our attention that that was happening out there in Region 10, and so we just thought that it's timely and relevant that we carry what's happening there, and the folks from the U.S. Embassy have reached out to assist, which is good. And as you know, the current government hasn't been doing much at all, if anything, to reach out and assist the people right there in Linden. We know that they have not been reaching out to assist a lot in a lot of other areas across Guyana. And I know how you guys feel about that, being ignored, your loved ones being ignored all across Guyana, not just in Linden, but it's pretty obvious what they're doing to the people of Linden. It's pretty obvious how the people of Linden are being ignored. It is pretty obvious how the people of Linden are being discriminated against. There's really nothing to offer other than political gimmicks. There are just some who might benefit it for themselves, obviously. They are not experienced, they're not qualified in the area of business or to receive contracts. And so what the PPP regime believes is that just grabbing a couple of people who are more pro them and could just belch out whatever they want, the propaganda, those are the ones who are going to be given these small amount of contracts in order to convey the impression that the PPP means well and that they are distributing the wealth across the board. No, no, that's not true at all. And I've asked one of the MPs in Linden or for Region 10 to do an audit. Let the government, let the so called government do an audit as it pertains to contracts that were given out to people in Region 10, primarily people in Linden. Let us see the names of those persons who were awarded contracts from 2020, August 2nd, 2020 to now. Let's see the names of those quote unquote contractors. Let's see the amount of monies they received for the contracts. Let us see exactly what they were paid to do, and let us see what they have done. Then you'll get to understand how corrupt the PPP regime is. And the fact that they are using these so-called small contractors for political mileage. Those contractors might not be aware. Some of them are aware. They're playing along with the games and so forth. Now, good morning to all of you. I'm reading some of your comments. Morna, Grand Morna, how are you doing? Morna, Grand Morna saying thumbs up to the ambassador. This ambassador seems to be operating in an unbiased manner. Her immediate predecessor has done quite a lot. And if you mention her immediate predecessor to Jack Deo and some other cronies in the PPP, they'll have a different story to tell. And so ambassadors, US ambassadors, are there to protect the interest of the United States of America. That's what they're there to protect. Guyanese politicians have been elected, some have been selected to represent the interest of Guyanese. I just thought I mentioned that after reading Morna Grand Morna's comment. I don't know, sometimes I wonder whether former Ambassador Sarah Lynch is watching. If she's watching, good morning to her. Good morning to her, indeed. Beatrice, Mark, what happened to the Bamia school? Finish yet? That's a good question. I did when the mayor of Linden was on last evening or yesterday afternoon. I did ask that maybe somebody should do. Somebody should basically. Someone should do a live there to give us an update. Usually, Mr. London would do a live on these things. I'm not sure if he has done that as yet, but I agree with you, Beatrice Selby, that a live should be done so that we can see what they, PPP, including Jagdeo, what they are claiming as completed. The school has been completed. We need a breakdown of that. And I was hoping that maybe at some point in time we'll get something from the Shadow Minister of Education on the issue to see exactly what has happened and what is their definition of completed. It's been almost 3 years now, almost $500 million, your tax dollars, for a job that was estimated at just about $200 million, now gone to over $500 million, your tax dollars, $500 million. And that is what these folks, that is what they do. They put this sort of monies in the hands of cronies, and they expect the job to be completed. Now, the reason why they gave that contract to their cronies is to make it appear as though that they're balanced and there's no discrimination, when in fact the evidence is glaring. Massive discrimination across the board via the corrupt PPP regime. That's what's happening. At the end of the day, getting some photographs from the current mayor of Georgetown now, as it pertains to the filthy drains in some parts of Georgetown. Well, the mayor is updating us here now to say that the drains are now clean. And if the mayor is watching, and this was brought to his attention recently, and he's just sent the photographs to show, and I'll show you guys that the drains have, they're looking uh, rather clean and as though humans live around there now. So let me just say kudos to the mayor of Georgetown and his team. Uh, they're going out there, they're getting the job done now, albeit the corrupt PPP regime do not give them the subvention. The PPP regime does not pay their bills. If you think, and they go after people when they don't pay their electricity bill or their phone bill, it's cut off. But the PPP regime owes the city council hundreds of millions of dollars. In Georgetown, they do owe the people of New Amsterdam the same. We spoke about a couple of weeks ago about the subvention for New Amsterdam, just about what, 75,000 US dollars per year. We spoke about the subvention for Georgetown, just a little close to 100,000 US dollars per year. Can you guys imagine 100,000 US dollars per year? Jack Dale and his boys, his cronies then will wild it out in one night. $100,000 they'll wild out in one night, but they want to give $100,000 to run the city of Georgetown every year. They want to give $75,000 to run the town of Linden. $75,000 to close to 30,000 people in Linden. Can you guys imagine? Can you guys just imagine what's happening there? I don't know, but as I've said, sometimes we go after those who are responsible for getting their job done. And some of them may think that we are, or I might be mean towards them or criticizing them. But sometimes you have to criticize the politicians then in order to get things done. You've got to criticize them. It's called constructive criticism. And sometimes when we offer constructive criticism, some of you, your bumps raise, you get angry, you get upset, all manner of things, and you feel that people are against because you constructively criticize. They mean that you are against. No, constructive criticisms doesn't mean, or it does not mean that you are against those politicians. It means that you want the politicians who have been elected to work, to do their job. That's all. To do their job. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's all it is. Morna is saying here, let me see, that in a recent press conference, Ali was giving props to the mayor who was in the audience. I don't think it was a press conference. It was the opening of a hotel, another hotel in Georgetown. It's some Bell Western hotel with 178 rooms, and they claim that they hired 60 persons there. Every time you turn, it's hotels upon hotels upon hotels. And those big hotels are putting the short-term hotels out of business. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to smile when I say short-term hotels. But these big hotels, some of them might be seen as money laundering. Now, I'm not saying that this hotel that was just opened by the Alfonsos, anything close to that, but I'm saying there are others who probably have sound like I'm from Belladrum, Hope Inn. Some of them who have open hotels might be on the radar of money laundering. Again, let me make this quite clear that this is not pointing any finger at this particular hotel that was open. So I just wanted to make that pretty clear. But it's interesting though that the mayor of Georgetown was at that at that opening, and no mention. The mayor didn't get an opportunity to go and speak. And even on that hotel's page, if you peruse the page, you'll see not a single photograph of His Worship the Mayor on that page. And you got to look at those things and understand why, right? And now, the current mayor of Georgetown is not known for being aggressive in the areas of human rights or political activism and these sort of things. He comes across as and I do say this with a tremendous amount of respect for his office, but he comes across as a softy, a political softy. And so people want, especially in Georgetown, people want someone who is going to use their office in the right way to stand up and fight for the rights of the people. And that is the sort of aggression people want to see, especially in Georgetown. We are seeing that fight back from the mayor of Linden, Sharma Solomon. Sharma Solomon is standing up and doing what mayors across the country should be doing. And so I say kudos to Sharma Solomon in Linden, who is standing up and he's just not accepting the crumbs that the PPP or disrespect from the PPP regime. Some of these mayors should take a book out of Sharma Solomon's page, a page out of his book, sorry. They should take a page out of his book. Now, when I offer these sort of constructive criticisms or observations, then bumps raise, people get vexed. You know, people get vexed. They say Ben Sharp is this or Ben Sharp is that, and all manner of things. And that Ben Sharp is getting personal. And that's what a lot of these guys in positions, they do, because you can't offer a constructive criticism or idea or whatever. Their bumps raised, they get vexed, and so they shut you off. But that's okay. I'm accustomed to that. What else is happening in your neck of the woods? I've noticed Brenda Casey is with us. She says she's watching from Tanzania. Really? Tanzania? Brenda Casey is all the way in Tanzania. You guys might be 7, 8 hours ahead of us. So good night to you, Brenda. And we're glad that you are keeping in touch with us all the way from Tanzania. Give our regards to the people in Tanzania. Tell them we 107.1 FM. We love and appreciate them. All right. What about New Amsterdam? Have you guys been hearing much in terms of what's happening to the residents of New Amsterdam? How would you rate the mayor of New Amsterdam, Mr. Wainwright? And again, I want to go around and we can take this poll right now, even though that's not what I dropped my work to come and talk to you guys. Maybe that's an addiction, talking to you guys and exposing the PPP regime. It's an addiction, but I see it as a good addiction. So I'll put my work aside for a quick couple of minutes. But let me ask you guys this question here. How would you rate the three towns? Well, city, capital city is Georgetown. How would you rate the mayor of Georgetown? Let's start with the mayor of Georgetown. From a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the mayor of Georgetown? His name is Alfred Mentor. How would you rate the mayor of Georgetown in terms of performance? From a scale of 1 to 10, let's go. How would you rate him? I hope he's watching. See how you guys are rating him. Mind you, in Georgetown, I don't know who the deputy mayor is. All I know is a woman, but I don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know. All right, so you guys are rating the current mayor of Georgetown on a scale of 1 to 10. June Cameron gave him a 4. Jason Benjamin gave him a 3. Jamal Aziz says like he's in the pocket of BJ. Um, Alita Galloway gave him a 2. This is the mayor of Georgetown, mind you. Give him a 2. Jamal Aziz gave him a 3. Roberto Ray gave him a 2. Delroy Elias is nice today. Give him a 1. Uh, Nandia Seaford gave him a 6. Marlin Thomas 4. Beatrice 5%. The install put the garland of silence around Mentor's neck. So Janet Elias gave him the donkey. Elias is one cold-hearted. Morning to you, Elias. Brenda Casey says he's an absentee mayor. Look what's going on. Brent Mentor, who is probably a cousin of Alfred Mentor. Yes. You see what politics do? They look alike too, you know. Their head size, because you know the Mentor's got a kind of thing head like a moon-shaped head. Brent, good morning to you. So Brent Mentor is saying it's hard to mark. Don't hear from this guy at all. People need to hear from their mayors. They are the representatives. They need to go out there. They need to speak on behalf of the people. But again, when you speak and you say these things, somebody's going to call the mayor of Georgetown right now. Someone is going to call the mayor of Georgetown right now and say, look, the white mouth Ben Sharp. You know, Ben Sharp, your white mouth right here, whop you. Look, he talking about you. He talking about you. You know, I don't know, he don't go and cut his nails, cut his hair, shave his eyebrows, or something like that. That's what they don't take criticisms lightly. And so I notice Mortland Fordyce give him a 7 out of 10. Well, you know Mortland Fordyce. Y'all know why Mortland Fordyce give him a 7 out of 10. If I ask Mortland Fordyce, and here's how you just catch them. Look, Mortland Fordyce walk right into the trap. You catch. I put my head on the block that Fordyce and Mentor, their buddies. So, Mortland, on a serious note, give us 5 areas that you think that the current mayor of Georgetown is doing well. 5 areas, 5 areas, 5 things right now, Mortland. 5 things, 5. And then we'll believe that your 7 out of 10 is an honest grading. We're waiting on you, Mortland. 5 things. In fact, not 5. Forget it. We don't want you to take all day or come back next week. Give us 3 things, Mortland, for that. 3 things that the mayor has done that we can all agree. 3 things. 3 things. 3 things. 3 things. Yeah. Difference between constructive and malicious criticism. I got you guys. Well, what we do here is not malicious criticism, right? I know. Good evening to the folks at Kilmarnock. All the folks at Kilmarnock. Hope all is well. Jamal Aziz is insisting that he gets the award. No, we're not going to give the mayor of Georgetown the award. We're not going to do that. But we're waiting on Mortland Fordyce to give us three things. 3. That's all we're asking for. 3 things. You see, and we're probably going to wait all day for Mortland. So we'll have to disqualify Mortland and his 7 grading, because he can't come up with 3 things, Mortland. Or you're ducking and hiding. You're gone and hide. All right, let's move on. Let's go to Linden now. From a scale of 1 to 10, rate the current mayor of Linden, His Worship Sharma Solomon, from a scale of 1 to 10. Come on, guys. I know it's an impromptu program this morning. Um, let's see what Miss Francine Cruz, what she has to say this morning. Marlon Thomas, Aubrey Norton is not doing. Oh, gosh, we are rating the mayor of Georgetown and Francine gone now saying that Aubrey Norton is not doing his best. He can do better. He's not instructing his MPs on what he needs to. Okay, Miss Francine, if we can just stay focused and maybe later on we can grade Aubrey Norton as leader of the opposition. But can we just stay focused, please, Miss Francine? Thank you. As we go in now back to the grading of Sharma Solomon. Jason, give him an 8. June Cameron, give him an 8. I notice we are talking about grading and Janet Elias. I don't know. Janet, I mean, what's the purpose of the question now when we're grading? We're in a classroom grading, and you're talking about where is Wayne Caesar? Wayne Caesar was probably out Saturday grazing a cow. I hope that's an appropriate response for you. But what's your grade? What's it's divergence. Let's stick to the subject matter. Wayne was off this Saturday. Wayne will be back next Saturday. I hope that answers your question. So Sharma Solomon now is getting 9s and 10s and 10 and 10 and 8 out of 10 and 10 and 10 and 10 and 10 and 10. Sharma Solomon is getting a good 10%, 10. Everybody 10, 10. 10 for Sharma. So now let's see here. Bunny Allison. Good morning to you, Bunny. Bunny Allison says the mayor of Georgetown deserves it too. He doesn't do enough for the people in Region 4. Well, he's not there to do for the people in Region 4. While Georgetown is in Region 4, he's there to do for the people in Georgetown. Region 4 is a huge, vast area, but Georgetown is from Agricola, and I think it stops off at Liliendal. So those areas comprise of Georgetown. But I got you, Bunny. I'm not saying anything. It's not a malicious criticism, by the way. We appreciate your comment as always, Bunny. But so Sharma Solomon got a heck of a good grading here. 10, 10, 10, 10, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. Chisel Chip Pepper, 68 is late for work, late for class this morning. When you guys in Paul Slow's class, y'all make sure y'all early though. Y'all feel y'all could hop in this classroom anytime, just like that. It doesn't work like that. So next time, ensure you guys are early. So we move away from Mr. Sharma Solomon, His Worship, the Mayor of Georgetown, in terms of his grading. And we go to New Amsterdam. Hopefully you guys know who the mayor is of New Amsterdam. Let's get the grades there for the mayor of New Amsterdam now, Mr. Wainwright. Scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the mayor of New Amsterdam? A scale of 1 to 10. I know you guys don't know who the mayor is of Corriverton. Waste of time knowing that anyways. I know you guys don't know the mayor of Rose Hall. Waste of time knowing that anyways. And some other places y'all don't know the mayors, right? Because installed by the PPP regime. So the mayor of New Amsterdam is receiving got from Marlon Thomas, and good morning, Marlon. A 9. Andrea D give Mr. Wainwright a 10. And let me stop there for a moment. I want to zoom in on Andrea D. You know, I'm this kind of a teacher. I want to zoom in on my students. Let's imagine I have students now. Andrea, can you give us three things, 3 areas as to why would you rate Mr. Wainwright, the mayor of New Amsterdam, a 10 out of 10? Just three things, 3 reasons why. I just out of curiosity. Thank you. And Let's see here. Someone asked me a question. I wish to respond to that person. Sorry about that. So there's a mentor now who's asking me a question. And Brent Mentor is back at it again. You know, he reminds me of those in the classroom who always put in their hands up. Yeah, hey, reminds me of me too. So Brent Mentor said, "What would you rate Sharma Mark?" Um, Mr. Mentor, one of these days you will have the opportunity to sit in this headmaster seat, and then I'll be in the classroom and I'll be able to respond to your question. But for now, I've asked the audience to do a rating. And if you listen carefully what I said, that mayors around the country should take a page out of Sharma's book in terms of standing up and fighting for the people that they have been elected or select to represent. Having said that, if that is not, if you can't interpret that rating there, well, Brent, I don't know, trade your tie. Take it, Brent. If you can't read between the lines and take a hit at that rating there, well, Brent, I know, Brent. All right, so let's get back to Andrea D. She says he is very big on the cleanliness of New Amsterdam. Fair enough. I've heard that about his worship, the mayor of New Amsterdam. You still get two more to go, please. That's one. You got two more to go. Delroy Elias, all of the Elias taking over our program today. Delroy has given the mayor of New Amsterdam 8. Jason Benjamin, I don't know what he ate for breakfast, but he is stuck at 8, right? Um, and Maxine Headley McFarlane has given him an 8. Roberto Ray given him a 7. Beatrice Selby, 10. I wonder why, Beatrice. Give me 2 reasons why you give him a 10. So now let's go to Linden Jordan. Linden Jordan is saying the mayor cannot do squat. Let him clear the sidewalk in Georgetown first. Put new sidewalks with the, typo there. I understand it. The people don't have to walk and dodge. Well, that has been the case for a while now. And central government is withholding hundreds of millions of dollars to the city. They're starving the city of Georgetown. They're starving the tongue of Linden. They're starving the tongue of New Amsterdam as well, for obvious reasons, right? Obvious reasons. Somebody said they do not collect taxes, do not take legal action against defaulters, only the working class. They harad. Well, Linden Jordan, I understand typos and so forth, so that's okay. But more needs to be done. I agree with you. More needs to be done. We need a proactive mayor who will ensure that taxes across the board, because you cannot have people from the private sector commission who owe hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes. They don't pay the taxes. And then oftentimes it's the small man, the ordinary man, woman, working class people have to feel the squeeze. They have to pay the taxes, and they carry the burden for those who evade taxes. Those individuals who evade taxes across the board. And oftentimes they're the ones who love to come up and, as they say in Guyana, pomposette themselves. For those who don't know what pomposette means, you can explain to them in the comment section what pomposette means. So for those who are away from Guyana for a while, or maybe who are in Guyana but in their AC, air conditions offices more often, don't know what pomposette means. It simply means somebody explained to them what pomposette. When somebody said they're only pomposetting themselves, bigging up themselves, and they owe hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes. They claim to be good corporate citizens when in fact they cheat from the citizens of Guyana, whether in Georgetown, whether in New Amsterdam, or even some in Linden. All right, so we've got the ratings there of the mayor of New Amsterdam. Um, you guys have been very, very kind with the ratings. Um, let's go back to Andrea D. Andrea, oh, she just stuck at cleanliness. Cleanliness. So we need to go beyond just cleaning the drains, innovative ideas, and these different things. So I'm sure that you guys didn't just elect a mayor to clean the drains, and that's a good thing too that they're keeping the place clean. Don't get me wrong. I think the mayor of Georgetown should push to be proactive in those areas as well to keep the environs clean. They shouldn't have to. People shouldn't have to take photographs and then they rush to send the waste management team out there and so forth. Lot needs to be done, lots more. But I like the proactive approach given and shown by Mayor Sharma Solomon of Linden. All right, so we're looking at 12:35 now in the afternoon on this Monday evening. Tonight on Straight Up, we should have Tom Anderson. We should be joined by Tom Anderson. And tomorrow on Straight Up, we'll have the Honorable Congresswoman of New York, Yvette Clarke, will be my guest tomorrow. Tonight, should have Tom Anderson. What else is bothering you as we spend maybe a few more minutes with you guys on 107.1 FM? Is there anything else that's bothering you other than maybe Brutus possibly could appear in front of the court pretty soon? Anything else that's bothering you? I know earlier today, you know who was placed in handcuffs, right? And yeah, this guy, critic, was placed in handcuffs. And according to information, he couldn't take the pressure. He was crying. That's according to information. And under those circumstances, if you are not strong enough, not just physically, but mentally, if you're not strong enough, psychologically too, and we know this individual obviously is weak in all of those areas and maybe more. Um, however, he appeared in court this morning and he was placed in handcuffs. It is said that he was crying and crying and crying. Now, let me make it clear that we here at 107.1 FM, we're not here to laugh at people when they're in handcuffs. Sorry about that. Let me just repeat that we are not here to laugh at people. Sorry, guys. I don't know what I drank this morning in my coffee, but it just got me coughing. In case you guys think that I'm chuckling, there's a difference. Just as there's a difference with constructive criticism and malicious criticism, there's a difference with laughing and coughing. And since you guys can't see my face, right? Sorry about that again. Since you guys can't see my face, you assume that I'm laughing at the situation. No, I'm not laughing at the situation. But this individual who has a lot of mouth, maybe that's all, boast and brag and call people names and all manner of things, cannot take the pressure, cannot take the heat. When they're faced with a situation, they cry, they bawl out, they beg, all manner of things. And they do that because you show it reveals how weak these folks are, that they just cannot take the pressure. And the fact that he cannot take the pressure, when he thought he was going to jail, he started, according to information, he started to cry. He started to bawl. You know, there's a song that goes out something about bawl and beg, bawl and beg, right? Well, in this context, his bawling and begging is different. And so if you look closely, you will see the handcuffs. You will see the handcuffs on him. And he was so ashamed of the handcuffs that he rushed on to do a live to explain the handcuffs. And suddenly he wants to paint himself as a victim, to say that these things are necessary. And it goes to show, according to him, that not because he is who he is a punk, anyways, that the law is treating him equally, regardless of who he is. But who the hell is he, right? And he's explaining that he had to be pushed down the chute, right? I'm familiar with that chute. Yeah, as soon as you leave the magistrate's court, then you go down that chute. It's a nice chute, by the way. There's no air condition, and when you're going down that chute, when they're going down that chute is like a tunnel. It's like it's like you catch ning ning if you're not strong at all. And somebody like me, I don't get ning ning. I just went down the shuttle, there's handcuffs, shackles. But this individual is so ashamed. He got so nervous. I was told that he almost fainted in that chute. And the handcuffs by itself, he is so ashamed that he just had to explain. And I don't know who he's explaining to and apologizing to. People who are so concerned and who were concerned about him. People are not concerned about him. People are laughing him. People are saying it's good for him. And now we here at 107.1 FM, we're not saying anything is good for anybody. Right? And neither are we laughing at I'm sorry about that, guys. Neither are we laughing at anybody. But if you take a look at him, though, this is a guy who claims to be brave and a big bad guy and nobody, and just a little handcuff, little small handcuffs, got him trembling, got him running scared, got him nervous. And to say, but he knows the magistrate will do a good job. And if you hear, have you guys here? This was funny though, but more to come, more to come. This is just the beginning. Remember, these guys are lunatics. They can't control themselves. And it happens when you put mad people in. You give a madman access to something. This is the result. This is the result. And there is more to come. I repeat, there is more to come. And the funny thing is, maybe it's not that funny, that they oftentimes rush to say that it is victimization, some form of. You go into a club, we saw it on video. The guy was badly beaten, his chain taken away from him, ended up in your hand, in your pocket. That should be robbery right there because the evidence was right there, clear. And threatening to put the victim, in my opinion, that's the victim. The guy is a victim. Put the victim in a car trunk, which should be alleged. I mean, sorry, what is it? Abduction. It should be attempted abduction. Those are the charges. So you cannot behave as though you're a big bad bully, and then when you get a little handcuff placed on you, you start to cry like a little. You know what? Cry like a little. You guys could say it in the audience, dear. It's okay. Cry like a little bottle of bleach. Just cry, cry, cry. You know. Anyways, good riddance. Good riddance. Good riddance. It's gone. Good riddance. Next, what can we discuss quickly before we go? Something of importance, mind you, something of real value, something quality, something that will make you guys have a blessed day, a better day. I know the laughing of that particular individual got you guys belly full now, right? You're no longer hungry. You're belly full to see the satisfaction. Belly full, right? Just to see that day with him in handcuffs, and the day will come, you'll see him in shackles and all these different things. Mr. Benjamin wants us to talk about 100,000 payout. Yeah, the 100,000 payout is it is what it is, Jason. We know, we see it as political bribery. Um, Political bribery, that's what it is. I know some of you might be tempted to talk about Dominic Gaskin and this silly comment by Mr. Gaskin about who will lose the next elections and who rigged the elections and so forth. I have taken umbrage to that statement for very um, good reasons that there is no evidence to substantiate his claim. Um, Dominic Gaskin, as you guys know, was the former minister of um, business. And so Dominic has been at this before. He's back at it again and beginning to see some red flags, beginning to understand. But I'm not a psychologist, and I'm not here um, to describe any sort of symptoms. Um, but what I will stick by is the silliness of Dominic Gaskin's outburst. And this was done on a pro PPP's program. But let me say this. Let me just say this to you guys that Dominic is wrong at every level as it pertains to rigged elections. Um, Dominic Gaskin should ask the PPP regime before he opens his mouth. We should remind Mr. Gaskin about the 61 dead voters. We should remind Mr. Gaskin about the 4,864 absent voters. We should remind Mr. Gaskin about the 150 stuffed ballot boxes. We should remind Mr. Gaskin about the 47 ballot boxes without documents. We should also remind Mr. Gaskin about 1,278 missing oaths of identity. That is what we should be asking Mr. Gaskin. We should also ask Mr. Gaskin, why is it that the PPP regime, why is it that they are reluctant to have the elections petitions heard in the court? If, in fact, according to Mr. Gaskin, that the people of Guyana have not forgotten the coalition, as he claimed they had rigged the elections, Mr. Gaskin is probably the judge, jury, and executioner, whatever. He probably sat there, he knows everything without showing any evidence. And of course, we know it's Christmas time. And as a result of Christmas time, sorry about that, as a result of Christmas time, when I was a little boy growing up on the quarantine, we used to love mouth organ. Mouth organ. But you know, back in those days, we don't know it as mouth organ. You said mouth organ. Mouth organ. How many of you guys did pronounce it mouth organ, just like Sanders? You know, you go and buy Sanders, and later, years later, you realize it's sandals. And years later, you're reminded that it's mouth organ. But quarantine, we say mouth organ, mouth organ, mouth organ. So, Mr. Gaskin, around Christmas time, we can just have some mouth organ and just rename it Dominic Gaskin brand, mouth organ, because it's just mouth organ. Again, I don't know what's the situation. And I just you guys, let's keep it clean here. We are not here to promote who should dump who, and that's not for us. Let's stick to the issue here, guys. If you want to say that it looks as though you collect a brown bag, it's okay, but let us not say who daughter should dump him, and let's and this is sometimes we sometimes divert from the main topic. You guys wish to talk about that on some other program, but you know, let's not say who daughter should dump he and who should dump who and who dump who and who dump. Elias, again, I'm looking at you. You know, Elias, you want the my wife Leffy, and I'm not going to discuss that on this show at all. I am sticking to the issue, but again, I know how you feel, right? Don't get me wrong. I know how you feel, but I'm not going to be a party to that sort of discussion. I rather stick to the subject matter. And the subject matter is that there is a preponderance of evidence that the PPP has rigged the elections. And I'd like to convey this to Dominic Gaskin on a one-on-one. If you wish to come on this show, on this station, straight up, instead of going on with Freddie Kissoon and those guys who obviously have a bias and very selfish and idiotic. I would love for Mr. Gaskin to come on this show, on straight up. On straight up. Let him come on straight up. And then I'll be able to ask him good questions, not the silly questions. So if he's saying that the APNU AFC they have already lost the elections, well, I don't know how much the evidence is there that Mr. Gaskin believes in democracy and believes in transparency and believes in a democratic system. A system that has not yet been tested for the 2025 elections. He has already put his hands up in the air and surrendered to the PPP. That is what he has done. He has surrendered himself to the PPP. Whether he's going to be a candidate on the PPP's list it's yet to be seen. I don't know that, and neither do I wish to speculate at this point in time. But with all of the wrongdoings that the PPP has been doing to people, the PPP has been engaged in a bunch of discriminatory practices, corruption. Mr. Dominic, a little bit of quarantine comes out to me. Dominic, depends on where you're from in Guyana. Some say Dominic, some say Dominic, some say Dominic. It depends on where you're from. But we haven't been hearing from Dominic Gaskin as it pertains to all of the atrocities committed by the PPP regime. We haven't been hearing from Dominic Gaskin about the discrimination, the racial discrimination, the breaking down of people's houses, the taking away of people's lands, the politically motivated charges against people, corruption at the highest level of the PPP regime, corruption at the highest level, allegations of corruption at the highest level of the Guyana police force. We haven't heard from him as it pertains to Sue and Jack Dale and all these different things. But when we take a look at what's happening in Guyana, and we see the direction that the corrupt PPP regime is taking Guyana and how they have destroyed Guyana from August 2nd, 2020 to now, anyone who thinks that the PPP is going to win the next elections, something is wrong with their brain. Now, all I'm saying is that anyone who thinks like that, like how Dominic has said, and he did say that it's his opinion, and he's entitled to his opinion, but we are also entitled to dissect his opinion. We entitled to give our opinion as well, and it doesn't matter, in my opinion, it doesn't matter who he is. It doesn't matter that he is the son-in-law of former President David Arthur Granger, that we have to be cautious as to how we critique him. No, not me. I am saying that Dominic Gaskin is wrong. Dominic Gaskin doesn't have the evidence. And if he doesn't have the evidence to pin the coalition down in the way in which he has done, well, then, I have to admit that something really isn't adding up there with Mr. Gaskin and why he appears to be so upset at the coalition. I'm not going to talk about his record as Minister of Business. It's for you guys to do the rating. If you want to give him a rating from a scale of 1 to 10, feel free to go right ahead and do that. But that's under the microscope in terms of performance, in terms of innovation, in terms of having a vision for that ministry. So I'm not going to say much in that area, but what's his name? Duncan worked closely with him. Duncan worked all over there in the coalition, but Duncan worked closely with Dominic Gaskin. So Duncan probably would be able to, because they work together closely there at the ministry too, right? So I saw Duncan all upset. I'm not gonna attach emotions to my constructive criticism of Dominic Gaskin and his propaganda, PPP propaganda. What Mr. Gaskin should also go right out and say is the injustices against these individuals. In my opinion, if the PPP has if there's any evidence against these folks, then what is taking the court so long? Over 4 years, and they cannot start with the trial. Over 4 years, and they don't have any proper evidence against these guys. And so these are things that I'm very concerned about. And so if anybody is going to make any statement to paint the coalition with a brush that they stole any elections, they have to come with evidence. It is the same PPP that has been running from the SOPs. How many of you guys recall that they did say that the SOPs for the PNC, or the coalition SOPs, would show that the coalition did what they've accused the coalition of doing. But it's over 4 years now. Do you guys understand why the PPP and their acolytes are so afraid? They are so afraid to open the boxes, to open all of those SOPs for you guys to see the SOPs. It's pretty obvious. Maybe Dominic Gaskin can sit down. Let us all sit down together, open the PNC or the APNU's, SOPs, and then let us open the PPP's SOPs. And maybe that's when Mr. Gaskin can understand really what transpired. Now, when you have a system that has already been rigged with the help of some cronies of the coalition, let's not run away from that, because the PPP was successful in rigging the elections and make it appear as though the coalition did something. Now, I'm not putting my head on the block for what may have done after they got caught, after they realized that the PPP rigged the election, because that's exactly what happened. They realized that the PPP rigged the elections because some of them in the coalition were sleeping. Some of them didn't want to go out and campaign. Some of them suck up their teeth because they weren't going back as MPs. So it's a whole host of problems, And those problems, I've already documented many of them, including the rigging of the elections by the PPP. Yep, the rigging, every single thing documented, the rigging of the elections by the PPP from Region 1 to Region 10. I repeat, the rigging of the elections. And I'd love to sit down with Mr. Dominic Gaskin, not over coffee, just a one-on-one, man to man. Let's sit down and let's talk. At the end of the day, I feel insulted when people come and say that, oh, the coalition did what the PPP is accused. And people are believing the PPP people. Imagine Jack Day talking about rigged elections. A guy who has almost certain, based on the perception out there, participated in so many rigged elections. The 1997 elections vitiated. They had to call quick elections in 2001. The 2006 elections, a seat was stolen. They attempted to rig it again, and they got through, but a seat was stolen. And Sam Hines squatted in that seat for 5 years. In 2011, they attempted to rig the system again with an extra seat that they were about to give to Donald Ramotar to make him the majority president. And could you imagine if he was the majority president, there would not have been elections in 2015, probably 2016 or 2017. But because the PPP got caught stealing a seat, denied Donald Ramotar the extra seat to make him a majority president. But because he was a minority president, he couldn't function. I'm speaking strictly here as a minority president. He couldn't function as a minority president. Hence the reason for Parliament being paroled, and elections were called in 2015. The coalition won the elections, even though the PPP attempted to rig the system. I repeat, the PPP attempted to rig the 2015 elections, but they were told to allow the process to continue. they were about to stop the counting because they have rigged it to a point that when they saw it going in another direction, because they got caught cheating and they wanted to stop the counting, but they couldn't stop it. They were told, and they know who told them, to allow the counting to continue. So the PPP attempted to rig the 2015 elections. And now if Dominic Gaskin doesn't know these things, well then let's go back to whichever part of Guyana you're from. There's always a different way of pronouncing his first name. Where I'm from on the quarantine, well, I grew up on the quarantine. I said Dominique. Georgetown people say Dominique. And people who live sometime out of Guyana say Dominic. Hey, Dominic. It all depends. But if Dominic doesn't know these facts, these things about the PPP and rigged elections, well, something is definitely wrong. And I'm beginning to wonder, and I'm asking the question, what is wrong? Are we so, Dominic thinks that we are so stupid that he's going to jump and say who rigged elections without any proof? He can't say that he was there. I'm sure he wasn't at GCOM. I'm sure he wasn't at the Arthur Chung Center counting the recount process. I'm almost certain he wasn't there. So are we seeing more to what Dominic Gaskin wants us to think, that he is just the smartest guy in the room and that he is so transparent and all these sort of things? Are we to believe that, or is there more? I think there is more. I really think that there is more to it. But guys, open your eyes and be smart. People will come from different angles, and you've got to keep your eyes open. Elections are around the corner, and sometimes some people that we expect better from are the ones that are the very ones that we have to keep an eye out for. I don't know if it's an AFC agenda, because some folks are saying that the AFC pulled itself out and said that they weren't part of any rigging. I don't know of any rigging. Again, I just don't know of any rigging. Now, this is not to say one and two of the people in the coalition. I don't know. I'm not putting my head on the block for those guys in the coalition. But what I'm saying is that there is no evidence. There's none. There is more evidence that the PPP has rigged the process. There's more evidence that the PPP has rigged the elections. And there's more evidence that the PPP is planning to rig the 2025 elections. If you guys in the coalition don't, well, there's really no coalition. The AFC ran away from the coalition. The WPA ran away from the coalition. The AFC, through Nigel Hughes, said that he could win an elections all by himself. Well, let him go and run. Let them run and win an elections by themselves. I don't know if Nigel Hughes is talking about the Guyana Bar Association elections. I don't know what elections the AFC can win by itself. And, again, on Mr. Dominic Gaskin, the party that caused the most headache in the coalition, we all know that party. We all know that party. The most headache in the coalition. They got to get their act together. They have to get their act together. But hey, I'm out of here. Since there's nothing else that we should be discussing until tonight, Tom Anderson will be on tomorrow night. Congresswoman Yvette Clarke will be on, and Wednesday night, I'm not sure as yet, but I'll let you guys know who that guest is. For now, I'm out of here. God bless you, and continue to pray for that beautiful country. And don't worry, Dominic. Dominic should tell us that it's the PPP that rigged the elections, and the PPP was actually installed into office. All right, this guy got saved by the bell. Otherwise, Cat would eat dinner tonight in Camp Street Prison. I'm out of here. See you guys later on this evening. Tata.
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours a blackout, and you're telling people progress. Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. They hide the corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
Yeah, my name is Jacinti Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965, I become a voter, and I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by 1 vote, they're losing it by data.
You could probably, on the maritime area, give Venezuela a channel out to the sea. So you make a slight